Hey, welcome to Discovering More. Today we're talking about wrapping up our series on Altogether and how we really wanted to talk about, in this divided world and this hostile world, we are actually united. We are held together by so many different elements of what it means to be human, being part of this creation, being part of the church. And in this past weekend, we talked a little bit about what it means that God holds us together individually. So the Bible paints this picture of relationships, and it paints this picture of community and living in the midst of the world. But also there is the psychological, spiritual, like the personal element of life in the faith too.
Yeah. And we see that you highlighted Psalm 139. But we see that in the Psalms a lot, of individual reflection back to God, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that struck me in some of the conversations I've had here this week with people is this idea that the psalmists show us how we can go right to God with whatever those feelings we might be having, the struggles that we're having.
Yeah.
And He cares about us individually and cares for us individually, not just as a collective group of people.
Yeah, and so what I used as a framework for that was the classic breakdown of a human, which mind, body, soul, and then we can throw in there emotions or heart. So the interesting thing is that the Hebrew, or in Deuteronomy 6, what is quoted in the New Testament by Jesus, Deuteronomy 6, it says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your nephesh or soul, and with all your strength." But really the word strength there isn't even strength, it's an adverb, ma'od, with all your exceedingly. So it's a little hard to translate that, but as we think about that, I think the big thing is that no matter how we break it down, there's a totality involved.
Yeah.
So in the Hebrew, you got your heart, which is the seat of intention and emotion and will. And then you have your being, which they say is soul, but the word there is nephesh, and it's the same word that is used in Genesis when it talks about humans becoming living creatures, living beings. So it's more than just a soul or spirit reality. It's really, I think, the essence of you, right? And then the me'odeka, the everything. I like strength as a translation there. I mean, I think it's kind of like maybe the will. How do you move forward in the world? So, but for us, after the Greek and the Greek world and all the philosophy that's worked its way in, Mark is actually the only one who includes mind. You find it in Matthew, Mark, Luke. Mark is the only one who says you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul and strength.
Yeah.
Matthew and Luke just have the more of the Hebrew look.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, the way I've heard the Hebrew kind of said is with all your all, just kind of
all your all,
your all, and so it's just this word just means it's everything about you, right?
Yeah.
And so by adding that mind, just kind of a way of trying to get at that. I think what all parts of me can I think of, how I'm divided out, so to speak. But again, none of those are actually separate. They're actually all intertwined together, as you mentioned in Psalm 113, woven together.
Yeah.
My body isn't just woven together, but all of this, who I am, my mind, my strength, my heart, all of those are all intricately woven. Like you can't really separate them.
Yeah. Our human experience, it's all like. Sometimes we spend too much time navel gazing, like trying to suss out. Well, was it my emotions? Was it my thoughts? Was it my blah blah blah? And they all interplay together. And I think the one that I almost wish I could have spent more time on was emotions, and how to love the Lord our God with our emotions, because I think emotions get a lot of airtime today in our world, but it's almost like your emotions are good. But some people treat it's like maybe the classic Christian approach would be like your emotions are bad. And I would say emotions are at some level neutral. You can't say an emotion is good or bad. It's just it's part of your human experience. It's your human response to something. So understand, like, does your heart rate getting elevated, is that good or bad, in a moment of stress?
Right.
Like, it just is what it is. Like, it's going to happen. So how then do we, I think the bigger thing is how do we understand our emotions and then respond accordingly to the emotions?
Right. Yeah. Response, right, is a huge thing. We can let our emotions run away with us and get control of us and lead us into bad areas, or we can say, "Oh, this emotion is real," and we can think about, okay, but what is a godly response?
Yeah.
To that. You're talking about the bad, and I want to say it's in Jeremiah, talking about the heart is deceptive.
Yeah.
Of all things, so our emotions can very much deceive us. They're not bad in themselves, but they can deceive us into directions when we let them control us.
Yeah, and actually that psalm is connected to, or that Jeremiah passage is pretty intimately connected to Psalm 139. I'm not remembering the exact connection, but it came up in my studies, was Jeremiah 17, 9 and 10, when it says, the heart is deceptive above all things and deceitful and desperately sick.
Yeah,
it says, who can understand it?
Yeah.
And it says, I, the Lord, understand the heart and search the mind. And so it's this picture of that we can't understand ourselves, but God understands us.
Yeah.
So basically, we come to understand ourselves not by spending more time with ourselves, but by actually spending more time with God. And He's the one who brings actually self-revelation as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the end of that psalm, I just love the end of that psalm, 139. And we were actually just talking about this in the small group that I'm in last night. This idea, he says, search me and know me, after he's already said, you already know everything about me, God. But then he still says, it goes back and says, search me and know me, find out if there's any grievous way in me. It's this admission that, yeah, I've got sickness in me. I realize that. I might not see it. But God, you can help me with this. You can reveal it to me, and then ultimately help me deal with it better in a godly way, along that way of everlasting. I really love that particular verse. I actually have it up in front on the picture in front of above my computer, because I think it's a great prayer, a great daily prayer.
Yeah, one thing as we were talking, you just made me think of, we talked about the two great commandments: you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And then the other one is, you shall love the neighbor as yourself. Now, the interesting thing about the second one, you shall love your neighbor as yourself, is it ties our love for our neighbors to self-love. Now, self-love it's not selfishness, which we can, self-care, the self-care culture that we have can devolve into that. But understanding ourselves, loving ourselves properly is one of the prerequisites, at least Jesus says so in this command, is one of the prerequisites to actually being able to love others.
Right.
So if we're operating out of pride, ego, or insecurity, we can't approach the other person well.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, it's God who holds us together, bringing that back in, to see ourselves aright.
Right.
And as we see ourselves aright in our relationship with God, we can love ourselves. David's like, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. To me, that's kind of a loving thought. Like, even with all my faults, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and by God Himself who loves me. And the more in touch I am with that, the more I'm able to actually respond to others well.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, God is framing us up for the life He has for us, whether that's, whatever kind of service that is, whatever kind of community that is. Yeah. So, I hope the series has been helpful for you. We'd love to hear any questions or comments. Feel free to leave those comments in the YouTube sections there. But we hope ultimately that that you're held together by God, and even through whatever the experiences are that you've been encountering here as of late, that God holds you together in your body, in your mind, in your soul, and in your heart. And we look forward to getting into our next series here, Immune, and looking at how we can respond to the pains that we experience in this world. So thanks so much for being part of our Discovering More, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.